Hello, namaste. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna wait for a few people to join. This is Claudia Carballal live from India on YouTube. Welcome. As many of you know, if you have been following, I have this YouTube channel for a while, and I did a few live sessions and satsangs online during the COVID pandemic, and now I am back. Some of you have asked me to come live on YouTube. I love doing these live talks because it feels like it is part group therapy and part community. So I encourage you to come ask me questions on the chat, comments. This channel is about psychology, mental health. I am a professional counselor, licensed professional counselor in the United States, in Texas specifically. And I live part-time in US, part-time in India. And I also visit Mexico, where I have an office there at the Centro Cultural Yoga Devanand. Yoga Devanand was a spiritual teacher in India, and he traveled all over the world. He went to Mexico, and he has several centers. So they invited me very kindly to use an office in a very beautiful old hacienda style house in Aguascalientes, Mexico. So I started last year with a small office there, just a presence to see people in person and online if they need guidance, community, meditation classes, coaching. Okay, the same thing I'm doing in India, collaborating with doctors here in India, in Goa. For the past 7 years, I have been coming to India to learn about yoga, meditation, healing modalities. And I want to tell you an introduction about my story about that before we start with the talk. The talk today is modern day meditation. Thank you for the hearts. Modern day meditation to raise your consciousness. So, about me briefly, since 2017, 2018, I started coming to India to learn Ayurveda as a healing modality. Ayurveda is the ancient system of medicine in India. And for the past 10 years or more, it has been going through a revival, a renaissance to use more natural methods for healing. Ayurveda teaches you to know your body, your mind, and eat according to your constitution, and how to modify lifestyle changes, not just diet, but also lifestyle changes, including healthy habits, healthy mind, yoga, meditation, etc. I started coming to India, this beautiful country that I learned to love. I loved since the first time I knew about it. I feel I have a connection with India from past lives, maybe, as many of you feel, people who I have met from all over the world. Some of them also feel a strong connection with India. And why is this? Because India is the spiritual nucleus of the world. India is the spiritual soul. Just like we have a body and a soul, an energetic body, we as people, the world, the planet, also has a spiritual center or a soul. And that is Asia, and specifically India. India has a wealth of knowledge, vast knowledge about spirituality, healing, esoteric practices, mysticism. And science is now proving many of these concepts that in India they were already teaching thousands of years ago. So this is not just theoretical knowledge or mystical, wishy-washy knowledge, like we say in English. It is most of it, not all of it, most of it, the original sources of knowledge and wisdom are being confirmed by modern science, by Western research studies of the brain, brain scans, mind study, depth, in depth of the body and the mind. So, this is what is awakening people's curiosity to study more and to learn more about healing modalities of Asian countries, South Asia, specifically India. So, welcome everyone. My name is Claudia Carballal. I am a teacher, I am a counselor, licensed counselor. I studied counseling psychology for 4 years. And before that, I was a lawyer, international litigation, human rights, and corporate law. I worked in the United States for 27 years, lived and worked there, and I learned a lot of good skills and also to appreciate other aspects of life that you cannot find just in one country, right? In the United States. But working as a lawyer helped me to develop very good analytical skills, mediation skills, and discipline, and a very sharp mind, which I really had to develop over the years because when I was younger, my mind was not very sharp. It was slow because I'm a deep thinker. But I learned to embrace the deep thinking, but also become sharper to achieve things in life that you want to achieve. So when I came to India, I learned all of that. And now, in the present moment, I founded a center. It's called City Meditation Center and Spiritual Retreat in Goa, India, where I am conducting classes, live talks like this one here from the center, and yoga teacher trainings, more focus on the mind, meditation, dhyana, and mental health, because that's my niche and that's my expertise. So I'm bringing you a set of online programs and live talks, free talks, and guided meditations that we are going to be doing together. So let's jump into the subject of today, and it is modern day meditation. And after that, hello everyone who is joining. Hello, Karan Prajapati. Thank you for being here. So many people ask me, what is meditation, how to meditate? And I was trained in India in a particular meditation method from my spiritual guru. It comes from a lineage, a parampara. A lineage in India refers to a tradition, a succession of gurus that come from a specific path or brand of knowledge. So it's like a specific application of knowledge, a lineage of gurus that transfer this knowledge from generation to generation until it gets to us, to this generation presently. In my case, I come from the Dattatreya Sampradaya. It's a tradition from more traditionally in the region of Maharashtra and Mumbai in India, that area, but it's all over India. And we follow a tradition and a lineage, and it's a tantric tradition and an initiatory tradition, which means that a bona fide guru, a bona fide teacher, a serious, real guru will transfer knowledge to you when you are ready. It's a tremendous responsibility, and I have come to understand the responsibility that I have, right, in this tradition to try to be very accurate about what I say and my interpretation of things, my guru taught me, and she told me that I am ready to teach what I have learned. So I created these programs, these teachings for you that come from a solid foundation on Indian knowledge. Of course, I was not born in India and I don't know everything. And I very humbly and very respectfully transfer what I feel comfortable conveying to you for your own growth and your own spiritual process. The way my teachers have helped me, and now in my 50s, I am here to transfer, to share to whoever wants to listen. So when people ask me about the meditation that I learned after exploring many meditations, many methods, and vipassana and Buddhist meditation, transcendental meditations, tratak meditations, different kind of meditations, going inward, heart-centered, my teacher focused me on one path. And that's what happens when you are a sadhak. A sadhak in India is a spiritual seeker, a seeker of knowledge and truth, not a seeker of information that you can get in a book, not a seeker of information that you can get at a university. A sadhak is a seeker of wisdom, the knowledge that is not necessarily information and data, is higher knowledge, cosmic intelligence. And this is what I found with my teacher. One of them, I was fortunate to find three beautiful teachers. One is my teacher who initiated me. She lives in Rishikesh. The other teacher I met in Raiwala, Haridwar in India, and Swami Bramdev, a very beautiful sadhu who founded Aura Valley Ashram in Raiwala. And I lived there for 1 year. And he also taught me other things that my other teachers didn't teach me. So I really appreciate these meetings in person with these beautiful souls who have taught me different things in a very different perspective within the same Indian culture. And my other teacher, whom I'm still getting to know, he is the last one I met. He doesn't meet with people in person. He's very private. He was in the Himalayas doing spiritual practices. He lived in Goa for many years. And then he moved to Rishikesh as well. And he lived very close to the ashram where I was living for 1 year, one entire year last year. And I had the good fortune, the blessing to know him in person and talk to him. And now I follow some of his teachings. He is a tantric teacher, which goes hand in hand with my other teacher in Rishikesh, tantric tradition. So I'm going to talk briefly about Tantra. What is Tantra? And link that to the topic of today, which is modern day meditation. What is meditation? Welcome the people who are joining. Thank you for being here. I'm reading your comments, okay? And I'm gonna put here on the chat, welcome, and thank you for being here. So we have a Telegram group. Maybe these three people that are joining are in the Telegram group. So if you want to join my Telegram group, send me a message on YouTube, one of my videos. I will make sure I see it. I look at all my messages. Send me a message asking me that you want to join the Telegram group. In the Telegram group, I share wisdom, knowledge, information regularly, very practical information to use in your everyday life. I listen to your questions on Telegram. I read them and I help you go into what are you trying to look for. So going back to meditation. What is meditation? Meditation is been defined in different ways, and this can cause some confusion in people. My way of explaining meditation is a deep connection with yourself and the universe, or the source, or cosmic intelligence. These are all names to refer to the same thing, which is the source, the creator, or God, however you want to call it. It is the same thing in all religious systems in the world. There is a connection with a higher energy, a higher entity, a higher intelligence. So, meditation is a tool, a method to close your perception with the world, the external world, the physical world. That's why most meditations, not all of them, but most, you close your eyes and you are quiet, because when you withdraw your senses, pratyahara, and you do dharana practices, which is a big part of tantric methods. Dharana is concentration, your capacity to concentrate and to be able to shut down the five senses. You may be thinking that's impossible, but it is not. Nobody teaches us that these things are possible, and we think it's very complicated or we will never going to be able to do it. So when you close your eyes, you withdraw the ears, the eyes, the smell, the touch, the senses. You are able to go within. And then you go to the stage of dharana, which is deep concentration. Most people, we beginners in this path, meditators, even advanced meditators, the only thing we're doing is withdrawing the senses and concentrating, dharana. But going to the next level is dhyana. And this is the deepest state of meditation, the true meditation. So, with practice and with strength and willpower and certain disciplines, everybody should be able to reach these levels of meditation. Now, most meditators, expert meditators, advanced meditators know that in order to go into dharana, concentration, and dhyana, deep states of meditation, you need to have a calm mind. You need to have the ability to calm your mind. And this is not good. This is not possible for some people. Not most people. I think most people can do it, but some people have a very agitated mind, overthinking, which causes a lot of anxiety. And sitting in meditation with your eyes closed can be very unsettling and very difficult. So don't feel frustrated if you're feeling that. Some people have also mental disorders, right? They have anxiety or panic attacks or depression or trauma from past childhood experiences or traumatic events that can be crime, natural disasters, a difficult childhood, or abuse. And these will cause your mind to be very fearful. And the brain is stuck in a survival mechanism that in psychology we call the flight, fight, or freeze response. Now it is also called the flight, fight, freeze, or fawn response. So this is treated in therapy. I have seen many people coming to me for many years. I worked in the US for a nonprofit organization serving survivors of crime, survivors of human trafficking, and survivors of domestic violence, very difficult, traumatic situations, suicidal clients and people. So I am very familiar with trauma and with the effects of trauma. And as a teacher of meditation, I can help tell you what I have seen works to get you closer and closer to a meditative state or concentration, even if you have some mental instability or difficulty concentrating, okay? Having said that, I have to give a caveat, a precaution, because I do have in my group, and I have heard from people, young men and young women, telling me that they have a lot of mental illnesses and that they are very scared of meditation and they have depression and they have been told by psychologists or psychiatrists not to meditate. Is this true? This is one of the questions I get a lot. Is this true, Claudia? Yes, it is true. It is not recommended for everyone to try to meditate alone and forcing yourself to go into a meditative state, because it can cause more anxiety and more panic and more unsettling emotions. But I want to tell you, don't feel afraid of meditation, because you can reprogram your brain, your mind with the right help, with the right counselor, with the right therapist. And you have to take responsibility as well for your own life and your own growth and healing. Not even the best therapists in the world can help you if you don't take personal responsibility for your healing. If you don't believe that you can change your situation, nobody can help you. If you don't feel in your heart that a change is possible for you in this lifetime, no psychologist, therapist, doctor can help you. Because I was talking to someone yesterday, and this person said, I need the key to my healing. I have been in therapy for many years and nothing has really changed. I have learned a few things. I understand my trauma, how it connects with my current behavior, but I still feel stuck. And I said to this person, beautiful soul, I said, you have the key. Nobody has the key. I don't have the key for your healing. You have the power, you have the key. And that is what I teach in most of my guiding sessions and classes. I give you empowerment to realize that the key is with you. And what does this mean? This means, thank you, everyone. I have somebody else joining. Thanks for being here. Okay, bear with me while I answer. Thank you, thank you. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you. Namaste. Hari Om. A very beautiful community that I am creating with you. You are the community. Thank you. And every month I'm going to do this live talk, okay, Saturday at 9. So I'm going to be sharing the link in my newsletter on Telegram group, my private Telegram group. Ask people to join and share, okay? So you have the key, you have the power. So now people ask me, how do I get the key? How do I get the key? So what happens? The key is hidden below a lot of mess and a lot of social conditioning. I talk a lot about social conditioning because my meditation method and my counseling method is to free you, to liberate you. Modern psychology has done a beautiful job in helping human beings, but I have observed and I have experienced that talk therapy, even wonderful therapy approaches that I myself use, like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, or existential therapy, which is philosophical in nature and finding meaning in life and in catastrophes and difficult situations, or narrative therapy, which is the story of your life. What meaning are you giving to your life, to difficult situations? And how can you write an empowering narrative? So I use all of these techniques in counseling as a psychotherapist, and they are wonderful theories, wonderful therapies, and wonderful approaches. But they are limited sometimes with some people because they don't go deeper enough sometimes if you don't have the wisdom as a therapist or a counselor or a guide. If you have not awakened, how can you empower others to awaken? An awakening simply means noticing the social conditioning in your mind, noticing, observing, understanding that everything you think is being programmed into you, socially conditioned. You have been groomed by society, culture, news, music, movies, songs, everything that comes from the exterior has programmed you and me to act a certain way, to behave a certain way, to extend, to expect certain things from life that are not best for you. They are best for the society and they are best for people in power, maybe. But my approach is individuation. I teach you how to be an individual first, and then you can join society when you are free. You can join in partnership, you can find a partner, you can be the best partner you can be when you are an individual, complete individual, a free individual, an independent soul, because that's what you are. Yes, we are interconnected. We are interconnected. We are all one family. And the souls in this physical life are connected. But your mission in life is to individuate yourself, to find your own journey, to liberate yourself from the social conditioning that has been placed in your beautiful brain. And that will help you to become less depressed or not depressed. It will help you become confident. It will help you to become fearful. It will help you to drop fears, material attachments, worries, overthinking, and you will become more free, more confident, more self secure, more self loving, and you're going to break free from anything that happened to you in the past. So, going back to meditation, and hello everyone for joining. Modern day meditation to raise your consciousness is the topic of today. And hello everyone. Thank you guys for being here. I have here, hello Claudia G. Yes, very nice video. Thank you, Karan. Karanji, it's so good to see you. I love you, man. You are so good. I think you follow me on YouTube for a few years, no? Uh, Let me know you are that Karanji. I think you are. And you said thank you very much, Claudia. And this is wonderful. Okay. So let's see here. I want to drop a heart. Yes, from starting. Yes, Karanji, thank you. You're a beautiful soul since the beginning. You have been with me, so you are my community number one, okay? Thank you. Meditation to raise your consciousness. So my meditation method is to connect with cosmic intelligence. It is called cosmic intelligence meditation. It's a heart center meditation based on Vedantic traditions and Tantric traditions. It is a Tantric meditation mostly, and a lot of the meditations in Vedanta. Vedanta, for those of you who don't know, is Vedanta is a philosophical system, a path in Hinduism and India, a path for self realization, right? And there are many Ramakrishna based missions and centers all over India and the world. And I don't belong to any particular center or religion. I am a free person. I don't need to belong to any particular religious belief, not even Catholic, Christian. I respect all, I embrace all, and I borrow from all of them, even Sufism and Muslim religions. I don't want to talk about controversial topics today, but my point is that I don't get identified with one particular group. I love all of them because all of them have something to offer. I started my journey as a sadak and a seeker, a spiritual seeker of spiritual wisdom. That is what a sadak is in India. It's a person who is not devoted to only living a life, getting married, having children, and worrying about money and material things. A sadak is a more elevated path. The path of a sadak is to be devoted to spiritual wisdom, higher intelligence, connecting with spiritual knowledge. Okay. So, all of you here are in that path. Maybe you want to start, maybe you have a curiosity, and also in mental health and psychology, which is what I offer as well. So for many years, I explored many centers, many religions. I went to Buddhist temples in the United States. I went to Vedanta centers in the United States. I went to different places in Dallas, in New York, in different states, different cities. I met with beautiful swamis in France, in other countries, in Spain. Swami Sarvapriyananda is a very famous swami all over YouTube. Swami Sarvapriyananda, and he explains consciousness and spirituality and the mind very beautifully. He is the head of the Vedanta Center in New York City, and I had the blessing to meeting him several times for talks and retreats. So I'm very familiar. I would say I know the basics of Vedanta, not very familiar, why, right? But as a Westerner, I have been in touch with all of these. So now I bring you this mix of psychology, modern Western psychology approaches, and being a counselor, a psychotherapist licensed in the United States, and a sadhak myself, a sannyasi. Sometimes I believe I'm going into this path, and as a seeker, right? A meditator and a teacher. So, cosmic intelligence meditation is a natural, organic method, heart center meditation based on tantric practices to connect with cosmic intelligence, also called the source, the creator, the life force energy that created everything and everyone around you. So now let's talk about a little bit about Tantra. Tantra is a philosophical system and culture in itself in the mystical path, esoteric path in India, part of Hinduism. For many years, tantric practices were secret. That's why it is associated with obscure practices or occultism or even black magic. But this is not true. This is not necessarily true. It's incorrect. Like in any path, people can devote themselves and use energies for good or for bad. But in my teacher's case and in my case, we do white approaches. Light, we are the light, we are the white light. And tantric practices mean how to understand your energies and harness the energy of your mind for your spiritual growth. That is what Tantra does. The word Tantra has been described as technique or method, and it is knowledge that has been transferred from lineages, from generation to generation. And it is a huge responsibility to receive this knowledge. The original texts in India that explain this method are written in Sanskrit, the ancient language of Bharat, and a big region of South Asia before the country became known as India. Bharat is the ancient name, the original name of this beautiful subcontinent, now a country, obviously independent democratic country. And Bharat is the original name. And originally, Tantra was transferred word by word, and it was very precious, very protective knowledge. Now, after the knowledge was transferred word by word, it was compiled in text, very important texts in India, and they were written in Sanskrit. So not everybody knows and understands Sanskrit. It is a complex language. It's almost similar to writing in code. So people who are Sanskrit experts, scholars, have been able to translate these beautiful, powerful texts, wisdom, knowledge into English and other languages. And thanks to them, these beautiful souls, now we have this knowledge in different languages. So I feel a tremendous honor and responsibility in having received just a tiny portion of this vast knowledge. I know very little, but the little I know, the more I know, the more I feel I know less, I know little. So there is not enough of this lifetime to know and understand. So, Tantra, in my guided meditations, I will assist you in understanding your energy. 10 minutes? Thank you. In understanding your energy and your mind. So let's talk a little bit about what is the mind. And thank you guys for staying here with me. Thank you, thank you. Sudesh, I see you. Karan, I see you. Hello. Thank you for being here, guys. This is very beautiful, okay? I think this is working better than YouTube live sessions, right? And you can go back and see this recording. Ask me questions on the chat, okay? I will answer if we have time. So, Tantra is understanding the energy of your mind through meditation practices. And we talk a lot about dharana, okay? Dharana means concentration in the path of yoga. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali explain a lot of specific steps and approaches that we need to follow in the spiritual path, in the path of personal growth and healing. If you don't want to call it spiritual, you don't have to use that word. It's simply growth and evolution. And we cannot grow and evolve if we don't understand our mind. That's why I combined my knowledge in psychology and my knowledge of these personal growth tools in India specifically to help you wake up, awaken, empower, understand your energies. So, what is the mind? Many people ask me, this is also a question and answer session. What is the mind? And actually, this is a question that I myself posed to them because nobody's asking, what is the mind? What are thoughts? Where do they come from? Do we know the answers to these questions? These are not just philosophical questions. These are questions we must answer. TK, what is the mind? Okay, the mind is a subtle entity, a subtle space. The mind is not within you only, it is outside of you. The mind expands hundreds of miles or kilometers outside of yourself if you know how to expand it that much, right? You can expand your aura, your bioenergy field around you that modern science now confirms it is true. And the ancient sages of Bharat knew that we had a biochemical, bioelectromagnetic field around our body, because our body is energy and cells, bioenergy. This is alive with life force and prana. Prana is life force, is alive, is bubbling. So all of these uh, causes to expand this aura, this bioenergetic field around us. I do a guided meditation to expand your aura. And I do these, I was taught these during my initiation process to expand your aura, to connect with cosmic intelligence, to open channels, to connect with the higher intelligence and do cosmic downloads. And this is possible through my meditation method that I learned from my teachers in India, my gurus from parampara, from lineage tradition. And the mind is also universal. For many people and Westerners listening to me, this may not make sense, but bear with me, okay? Even for Indian people, this may not make sense, but many of you maybe heard the mind is inside of you and outside of you and all around you, because mind is a concept. Mind is not an object, it's not an entity that you can, it's not a physical entity that you can touch, that you can see, and that you can study like in a laboratory. But the mind exists. Nobody denies the existence of the mind, because mind is just a word to refer to this area or space or knowledge that is existent even without your presence. The mind is there. The mind is universal. Swami Vivekananda, the great guru, wrote about it. Many writers, Indian writers, have studied it, written about it. Ancient rishis, rishikas, sages, men and women, saints, wisdom thinkers, philosophers, Shankaracharya, many, many gurus that are like gods almost to me, because they, thanks to them, we are now understanding this knowledge. They said the mind is universal. The mind, when it expresses consciousness through our physical body and our individual mind, it's filtered by the ego, by the ahamkara. And this is what causes each individual person to perceive things in their own unique way. Something that affects me may not affect you. So it's not the thing itself that affects us, it is the way we see it. And you awaken when you realize that you have the power to see things from a different perspective that can set you free from your pain. You have the power to see things from a different perspective with the help of somebody who is awakened, who can guide you to that perspective. You have the power to see things from a different angle if you are open to listen. That is the beginning, right? So when we say the mind is universal, Swami Vivekananda said this because he understood, he was awakened, and he understood that the mind is beyond this physical body and this physical existence. The universal mind is what we call cosmic intelligence, universal intelligence, the higher spirit, your higher self. Your soul is connected with the spirit, and there is a link that connects you with the higher spirit. And through cosmic intelligence meditation, that's how we call this meditation method, through the tantric methods that I learned from my teacher in Rishikesh, you can connect with cosmic intelligence. So, is that easy? No, it's not that simple, because you also need to be prepared, to prepare your mind, your individual mind, and to prepare your body, purifying your mind. A mind who is cluttered, scattered, and confused cannot connect with cosmic intelligence. A mind who is confused, scattered, and agitated cannot heal yourself because it's not empowered. That's what we call blockages. So, through tantric meditations, there are many methods. Cosmic intelligence is just one method of this organic approach to connect with your heart chakra, and anahata and the manipura and other chakras in the lower portion to help you develop confidence in yourself, to trust yourself that you are a powerful machine, even when defective sometimes. You can always reprogram and heal yourself. Now, another question I get is, what are thoughts? I cannot stop my thoughts, Claudia. What do I do? So, you have to practice, you have to come to meditation classes, you have to learn through reading texts and experiencing yourself, putting these things in practice, and come back to your teacher with questions. Don't give up. Continue your search, continue your improvement and your evolution. If you have mental agitation, there is a reason why it's there. You have to slowly, with patience and tolerance and love for yourself, compassion for yourself, to accept where you are at this moment. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm not going to do a guided meditation right now, just a very quick prayer or a mantra for us here today before we finish. And then you can ask questions in the chat, and I will answer for about 5 minutes. So close your eyes, put your hands on your heart center, take a deep breath, connect with your body. And we thank the Creator, we thank higher spirit, cosmic intelligence, this beautiful higher consciousness, the source or God, which has no form, no personality, no ego, no characteristics. This ethereal, eternal presence, consciousness that manifests through us. And in this way, we are this cosmic intelligence. We are this divine presence. The universe was created by this divine force, this higher intelligence. The perfection of the balance of the cosmos and the universe cannot be an accident. This perfect balance of the planets and the galaxies and millions and trillions of galaxies and stars and planets are yelling at us, screaming at us, telling us, you are perfection, higher consciousness, you are powerful. There is a higher intelligence organizing all of this. This higher intelligence is here, continues to expand beyond the trillions of galaxies. And you think that you, a small speck in one of these galaxies among trillions, you believe that you can control your life, that you can control other people or change your partner. Only they have the key to themselves. You have the key to yourself. I invite you, encourage you to individualize yourself, focus on yourself, make progress in your own self, connect with yourself, with your higher self for healing, for growth, and then the world will change. We all have the key to our own growth and healing, and through that, the world will heal. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for being part of this beautiful cosmic intelligence manifesting now in this small community that we are creating. Take a deep breath, put your hands together, rub your palms together, keeping your eyes closed. Creating this life force, you can heal the heat in your hands and tingling sensations. This is the life force. You are this force. Put your hands over your eyes. Feel the warmth. You are this life force. Rub your face with your hands. And you can open your eyes slowly and take a deep breath. Thank you. Hari Om. Thank you for being here. That is all for today. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was healing or inciting your curiosity and your will to continue in this path. I have here comments. Does trauma produces sexual OCD? A comment, you are not married. Another comment, I have watched almost all of your videos. You share very important things. Yes, Karanji, thank you. And Sudesh. Okay, I don't want to disclose names with your questions so you don't feel embarrassed, okay? But I'm just reading names to call you. That was really nice, ma'am. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to answer this question. Does trauma produces sexual OCD is obsessive compulsive disorder? It can produce OCD, any kind of trauma. What is trauma? Trauma is a psychological wound, an emotional injury. Just like we receive physical trauma, we can break a bone or hurt ourselves with make a cut, we bleed. It takes time to heal, and you may get a scar. The same similar way, we have emotional wounds and psychological wounds. They can heal. They will heal with the right medicine. And the right medicine is all of this information and tools that I give you and many other teachers have given us, okay? So how trauma can cause OCD? Not necessarily trauma causes OCD, obsessive compulsions, but it can. How? Because when trauma happens, let's say a difficult childhood experience, it can be a natural catastrophe like a war, an earthquake, a tsunami, a flood that takes away all your home and your belongings and people you love. Maybe you saw people dying. Even ancestors we can inherit some trauma, some karmic imprints from ancestral trauma. It is a complex topic. I would love to dedicate that in my next live talk. Okay. So send me your questions on my Instagram, Heal with Claudia. Send me a message. I will get your questions. You can also send more questions here. And I will ask you to join my Telegram group, Claudia Carballal, Claudia's Space Shunya. Okay, I will, it's a private group. I have to send you the link, but you tell me if you want to join and I will send you the link. So, trauma is a very difficult experience, and the level of difficulty you determine. Nobody can say this is not important, you should get over it, or this is very important, you should be very traumatic. No, you should feel a lot of trauma. No, it depends on your unique constitution, on your mind constitution, on your physical strength or weaknesses, how life impacts you, how difficult experiences impact you. There is an assessment in the United States called ACE, Adverse Childhood Experiences. I can share with you if you want. Let me know. I can send you a link. You can take this quiz. It's a very brief assessment of a few questions that ask key information to assess the level of trauma that you have. ACE, ACE, Adverse Childhood Experiences. And there are methods to counter these adverse, difficult experiences that can cause trauma. So, what happens when you have these difficult experiences? Your brain mechanism is impacted by this wound, and your brain goes into survival mode. Emotional center of the brain is the amygdala. The center of the brain is the amygdala, and it gets activated, over functioning, and you feel emotional. And the way to soothe yourself, feeling out of control, feeling hurt, feeling this injury, this trauma, this suffering, this pain, you soothe yourself with obsessive compulsive patterns or habits. So let's say that you eat obsessively, compulsively. Obsessive means that you repeat the behavior again and again without being aware of it and without being able to stop it. And compulsion means it's compulsory. You don't even notice. It just comes and repeats, and you are not completely aware of it. Maybe you are aware of it once you are doing it, then you notice that you are doing it again, right? So, this is what it means obsessive compulsive. And the word disorder simply means that it's not a behavior that we want to accept as normal, okay? Because in science, in psychology, there is a bell curve. You have seen those bell curves that are, it's a diagram, and it shows what is normal among the population and what are the outliers. The people who fall outside of the normal range, they are called in research design and statistics. In psychology, we study that to understand research studies and the language of research and statistics, right? How many people in your population are normal and how many people are below or outside that range we consider normal? So the disorder comes from these statistics, these measurements that consider you normal or abnormal. But please understand what this means, okay? These, I empower people to never believe you are defective. You are just different, right? You are just different from the norm. But if the norm one day wakes up and they act in a certain way, that will be considered normal because it's what the majority of the population are doing. So, what is normal or abnormal, not normal, is subjective and it changes. But it helps psychologists and counselors like me to determine what is the ideal behavior that we want to have. So, of course, there is healthy behavior and unhealthy behavior. But don't believe that you are a kind of a monster or defective, right? I tell this to my clients. You are just different. That's all. You are just different. You have this habit of washing your hands many times and it interferes in your life. Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it's distracting. Yes, it can cause mental agitation. Yes, and it can cause suffering and more anxiety. Yes, but you can manage it with the right help. You can bring it to a level where maybe it's not 100% gone, but it is manageable. And most importantly, is how you respond to these. The more tension you create, thinking, this is wrong, I am weird, I am strange, I am different, this is wrong, the more tension, friction you're creating with the OCD, and it gets worse. So I invite you to relax and accept that this is happening, accept that it can be managed slowly, dire, ठीक. And so the answer is yes. Trauma is possible to cause OCD, but not always, because some people can overcome it very quickly in a few years, in a few months, right? Trauma is not chronic. I don't like the word chronic diseases, chronic disorders. In some instances, They may stay for a long time, for the majority of somebody's life, but don't believe that it's chronic forever, because nobody knows when you are going to have a shift. No doctor, no teacher, no guru knows when you are going to awaken, when you are going to have an insight, an epiphany, a realization. And that's when change starts. And change can be incremental, dire dire, slowly, tori tori, or it can be all of a sudden. Yeah, many people have been in deep states of depression, and next day they have an epiphany, an insight, a realization of something critical, crucial for their awakening, and they awaken, and the depression is gone. Okay, thoughts, guys, thoughts are energy forms. Thoughts are movements of life. And I love to explain this like that because that is what it is. Thoughts are nothing but movements of life, wave patterns. And the sages of India taught about this and wrote about it. The Yoga Sutras talk about it. The Bhagavad Gita talks about it. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yeah, the movements of the mind. Yoga is the control of the movements of the mind. And the movements of the mind, chitta, right? Movements are vrittis. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. Vrittis are fluctuations of the mind, and I call them movements of life. And there is nothing wrong with that because you are life. You are meant to be in movement, in motion. And this is a blessing. The way nothing moves, you are dead. The day you don't have a movement of life, a thought, you are dead. So, life, love your thoughts, love your uniqueness, your weirdness. Okay. I am not an average person. I am not a common denominator. I am an outlier. And for many years, I felt like an outsider or a black sheep, that we call it. No, the black sheep of the family is somebody who is different. But now I love it because I learned to understand what it means to be outside of the curve. And I have been always outside of the bell curve, outside of the norm since I was a child. So this comes from past lives, right? So in past lives, you were different. And in this life, you are different. And that is not wrong necessarily. So in my next session, we are going to finish now, but in my next live talk, I will talk about how trauma causes mental disorders, and including OCD and other kinds of mental approaches to deal with it. Okay. So I hope I answer the question, and don't overthink it. Okay. Get help, but be very loving, very compassionate. Hug yourself and say to yourself, I am an outlier. I am different. The source sent me to this world to experience this uniqueness, this OCD, this trauma, and I'm going to go through it with dignity. And I'm not going to push myself down, stumble upon myself and my self-worth and my self-love. Because even with OCD, you are a divine man. Even with OCD, you are a divine woman, because cosmic intelligence is in you. So you have to tap into that to get better, okay, to heal. All right, that's all. Thank you, beautiful souls. I have here comments. It was really nice, ma'am. Thank you very much. No problem. Can we control our senses just from meditation? Can we control our senses just from meditation? Yes. That is the one of the goals of meditation, is to control the senses. Yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. The goal of yoga is to control the mind. I like the word manage better than control, because we are never going to be able to put our mind in blank with no thoughts. That's never going to happen. Only when you're dead, right? When your body is gone, your mind continues, your soul continues. But one of the objectives or results of meditative practices is to manage your five senses and manage the fluctuations of the mind, manage the vrittis in a way that you let them pass like fish in the water. You let them pass. You don't engage with them. You don't suffer because of them. You don't have a conversation with them. You don't make best friends with them. Yeah. I'm gonna finish with this quote. The great poet, Sufi poet Rumi, has one of my favorite poems in the entire world that talks about thoughts visiting me. I'm going to say it in the next session, but I'm going to read it because it's beautiful. But it says, the mind, depression, anxiety came to visit me, and they knock on the door. And I stand up with a smile and open the door and invite them in. But I don't become their friend, because they are here as a visitor to awaken me. And then they are gone, they leave. And I get very, very empowering within myself right now when I say this, right? I hope you're feeling this, the power of this. You know, Rumi was an awakened being, and he was connected with higher intelligence. And he said, don't worry about your thoughts, about thought fluctuations, about depression, about anxiety, about fears, because these are waves, energy patterns that come knocking on your door, and they say, open, open. So you don't have to open the door. You can just watch them and see them gone. But if you want to let them in, watch them with a smile and know that they are visitors that come from beyond to awaken you. Namaste, everybody. Many blessings. I love you. And I will see you next time.